So it's no secret that I love reptiles, but I'd be lying to you if I said that they don't come with their challenges. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over my top 5 challenges of owning reptiles, so stick around. My name is Nick Pulaski. Growing up, I have always had a passion for wildlife, and with that passion, along with my passion of filmmaking, I get taken on some amazing adventures creating wildlife content, getting up close with a variety of incredible animals. So come follow along as I pursue my goals of educating, inspiring, exploring, and conserving wildlife, all while having fun, seeing the beauty in our natural world. Hello, and thank you guys so much for joining me for today's video. As you can see, I'm with Mushu here, who doesn't get as much screen time as I normally would like him to. He normally gets a little bit eerie around the cameras, I've noticed, but he's kind of been mellowing down, I've noticed, as he gets older and bigger, and he's definitely getting some size on him, that's for sure. He's been growing like crazy, and this guy is just an endless pit, so he loves to eat. He loves his turkey meatballs, huh? Don't you, buddy? But yeah, like I said at the top of the video, I wanted to make a list of my top 5 personal challenges of owning reptiles that I've personally experienced myself, as well as other challenges other people have faced as well too. So that's what we're going to be going over today. But yeah, obviously, as you guys know, I love reptiles. Obviously, I have a whole bunch of reptiles of all different species, and I love them all to death, and they're just so rewarding to keep in general. But they also, like I said, come with their challenges. Now, like I said, these are all my personal opinions, so if I go through this whole video with you guys and you don't hear one of the challenges that you personally face or you have in mind, definitely leave those down below too. I would love to hear those as well too. So without further ado, let's kick this list off with number 1, which I would say is picky eaters, which is definitely not what you fit the bill of, Mushu. You definitely are a really good eater. This guy is just, like I said, a bottomless pit. He loves to eat. But unlike Mushu, the red tegu here, there are some reptiles that just for whatever reason go off of food for no reason whatsoever, and sometimes there is an actual reason why they go off of food. And there could be multiple different reasons on why an animal refuses to eat and is picky. It could simply be that there's an underlying illness with the animal. It could be that the habitat needs are not being met, and that could even be with season changes. We are hitting winter here in the Midwest, and sometimes with lower temperature drops and drier climates with lower humidity, that can be a cause for a lot of issues, especially in ball pythons and sometimes other different species of snakes, lizards, you name it. But mainly like this would be for like ball pythons. Ball pythons are notorious for going off of food. But yeah, like I said, it could be from underlying illness, it could be from habitat needs not being met, it could be the food item that you're offering to them. So again, let's go back to ball pythons. You could be offering them frozen thawed when they prefer live. You could be offering them something that is live but they prefer pre-killed. You know what I mean? I mean, there's so many different things and different options, and the list goes on, and it's a challenge, you know? I mean, it's very frustrating for sure if you're not getting your animal to eat, because we only want the best for our reptiles, right? Otherwise you wouldn't be watching these videos. So it's very challenging when you have one of these amazing animals and you just aren't seeing it thrive the way you want to, and you want to see these guys eat because that's a rewarding factor, and it's just a struggle. So that would be the first challenge of owning a reptile, is being a picky eater in some cases. Alright, so number 2 on the challenges of owning reptiles would be they are really good at hiding their illnesses. So you could be looking at an animal and it'd be totally fine, and then you could just start seeing a lot of weight loss over time, and you'll be like, what is going on? I mean, the animal is acting normal, but you're just seeing a lot of weight loss and you're not sure why. The animal could even be eating still and it's still losing a lot of weight, or you could just be seeing them acting a little bit more lethargic. The list can go on and on. They're really good at hiding their illnesses, so it can be a challenge to know if your animal is healthy. So it's really nice to kind of know what the normal behavior signs are for your reptile, as well as having a really good exotic reptile vet on hand if something does come up, so you know how to fix the problem immediately once you start seeing signs of what's going on with your animal. And over time, that all comes with experience of kind of seeing and catching an eye of what's going on with this animal. This animal's acting different. Is something going on? Is it a change in the habitat or what have you? And then you can kind of pinpoint and see, is this an underlying illness? And when in doubt, it's always safe to get a vet involved. You can never go wrong. So that can be another challenge of owning a reptile, is they can be really good at hiding underlying illnesses. Alright, so the third challenge of owning reptiles is maintaining the proper environment. And there's multiple different things I'm going to go over in this. So for example, with a tegu lizard, they require UVA and UVB lighting. That lighting can go bad after normally a year of its life. So the light can still work, but they are not getting the right Ferguson levels that they require. So what you need to do is you need to make sure your monitoring those levels and making sure that you are changing those bulbs out properly when they need to be, so they are getting what they need and require. And basically what it comes down to is proper maintenance. I mean, everything's going to require maintenance. What it basically comes down to is there's no pet out there, whether it's a reptile or not, that doesn't require maintenance throughout the day, the week, the month, and the year, unless if it's a pet rock. So you have to make sure that you're keeping up with the maintenance, and sometimes that can be a challenge for some people, and I get it, but it's definitely something that I hone into people, that you want to do your research before getting any sort of animal. Now, another point to go off of that challenge is habitat size, so enclosure size. So, for example, an adult tegu requires a lot more space than a baby tegu would, for example, right? I mean, they need something ginormous, basically like a room size in some cases, because they get big and they love to roam around, and they just require a lot more and a lot more enrichment, right? So you want to make sure that you're able to give these animals the proper setup throughout their whole life. So that can be a challenge for some people. So it goes back to that challenge of doing your research and making sure that you're able to take care of this animal throughout its whole life. Not just in the baby stages when they're these super tiny and cute baby reptiles. You want to make sure that you're able to take care of them when they're these adult size cute reptiles as well too. So make sure you're doing that as well. But the last point that I'm going to make about maintaining a proper environment for your reptile that's a challenge is they can be messy. I mean, you have to spot clean them daily. You have to make sure you're giving them fresh, clean water daily, and they just make a mess. I mean, especially in the water bowl. For example, with like a tegu here, these guys love to dig. So he's always kicking up cypress mulch, and he's kicking it up all in his water bowl, and they make a mess. I mean, snakes and tortoises and all of that stuff, they will commonly go to the bathroom in their water bowls, and it's so gross and it's so annoying, but I mean, that's commonly what they do. And you want to make sure that you're giving them nice fresh water daily, so they're not drinking out of that, because that can be gross. You don't want to drink out of the toilet yourself. So sometimes it's hard for people to maintain a clean environment for the reptile, and you just got to get on a regime and practice good etiquette to make sure that your animal is getting well taken care of, because yeah, you definitely want to give them fresh, clean water daily, because they will do those things, and you don't want them to be drinking out of dirty water, and you want to make sure that their substrate, their habitat is all looking nice and great for them throughout the days. Alright, so the fourth challenge that I want to go over with owning reptiles is stuck shed. So you could have the habitat properly maintained and the humidity levels right, but they could still be going through some struggles with their shed. So it can be a struggle, and sometimes, like I said, especially going through winter and drier seasons, it can definitely be a struggle. And the first thing you basically want to go over to combat this challenge is you want to make sure that you're meeting their needs with their habitat and what they require as a species. So you want to make sure that you're reaching their humidity levels. You want to make sure that they have good places to hide that are moist and humid for them as well too. You just want to make sure you're going down the list. But even so, I mean, you're not going to get perfect sheds every single time, and that's just something. Don't feel like a failure if you don't get perfect sheds every time. Something that is totally normal. So don't freak out and feel like you're a bad reptile owner if they're not getting perfect sheds every time. It's totally okay. For example, with lizards, they don't shed out in full pieces, so that's never going to happen with a lizard. But for like snakes in general, I mean, sometimes they will flake off, and that's totally normal. After I give them a soak, I will help them by massaging it off in little pieces, and then over time they'll get the rest off in a day or two. And that's something that can be a challenge for some people, but it is something that you want to make sure that you're on top of, and you don't want it to keep building up over continuous shed cycles, because otherwise that can cause problems for your animal. It can cause problems in loss of limbs. It can become too tight on them, and it can cut blood circulation. It could have problems with them seeing and breathing. It's a really tough thing, but you want to make sure that you're on top of it early on, so it doesn't become something that's more of a challenge than it actually is. So it is a challenge, but as long as you maintain it, it doesn't have to be. Alright, and lastly, my top 5 challenge of owning a reptile is patience. So what I mean by that is it can be sometimes hard when you have, for example, a baby reptile and they're super whippy and they're super fast moving, and you don't have that trust built with them. And it's just something you have to build trust with that animal, whether it's through feeding them, training them. Like for example, Mushu is literally a perfect example. I'm so happy he's sitting and being so great for this video, is because I've built trust with this animal. At the beginning, he was a little bit more flighty. He didn't know me well, and he didn't know commands. Now he gets, when I come into the enclosure, he gets commands of when I have food for him. He gets commands when I am here just to pick him up and just do maintenance for him. He's super mellow. He's never come out and tried to bite me or anything like that, but he has been skittish at times, and he wouldn't be able to be handleable. And it all comes down to building trust with that animal, and that just comes in time and patience. And that's how you build that trust, and that's how you build the handleability with animals. Now with some animals, though you can handle them, you probably shouldn't handle them. For example, like dart frogs, tree frogs, green tree pythons in some cases, normally, unless if they're on a branch, normally they just don't like to be handled. I mean, there are some reptiles and amphibians that are just eye candy, for example. Whether it's a lizard or other species of snakes, those are some species in time you will build that trust and that confidence with in handling and working with that animal. And that's just something that all comes with time and experience. And that can be a challenge for some people. I know some people are super impatient and they just want instant results, but that's not something that comes with reptiles. I mean, it all comes with building a bond with these animals, and that's the key thing, is you want to build these really cool bonds with these animals, because I'm telling you guys, if you do that in time, it's super, super rewarding and it pays off in numbers. Don't you agree, buddy? You were just such a good boy in this video. Look at that. He goes directly to sleep. He's just such a good boy. I love this guy to death. He's super, super cool. I'm telling you guys, I'm literally hooked on tegus. These guys are super, super mellow and super, super cool. Just really, really cool animals. So yeah, there it is, guys. That's my top 5 challenges of reptile keeping. But like I said, these guys are so, so rewarding in keeping. I'm telling you guys, there's a reason I keep so many. They are just incredible things to keep, and there's just so much to learn about them that I'm learning daily, about species that I own and new species and everything. It's just so cool, and it's just such a rewarding thing. So I'm telling you guys, just do your research properly, keep these challenges in mind. And also too, if I didn't name a challenge and you guys have, definitely leave that down below. I would love to hear it, as well as other people would as well too. We're all here to try to help each other out, so that's the key here. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Mushu and I appreciate it. If you guys could do me a few favors, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it, as well as hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. Make sure to also check me out on my social media. I'm constantly posting on there, updating you guys on Mushu and all my other reptiles on there, so definitely check us out over there. Thank you guys again for watching. It truly means the world to me, and until next time, we will see you guys soon. Take care.